Jeremiah 33, we're going to tip over some sacred cows. And this is, I mean, just approach this verse with an open mind and open heart, like the desire to know the Father and his returning of his sheep. He wants us to return. And this is how he wants us to return. There's things we have to be aware of. I said this in the last video, I think. The idea of lies, that we've been taught lies. Well, if we already knew it, we wouldn't be able to be lied to. So,
yeah. How many times does he say his people, they perish for the lack of knowledge? So, if we knew this, if we knew his covenant super well, if we knew the benefits of doing this, if we had inherited, hey kids, this is what you do on Shabbat, this is what you do for Passover, this is how Yah's ways work. If we had had those road markers and known his path so well and grown up with that, how easy this would be. But it's so strange and foreign because we haven't known. So here we're trying to figure it out, do our own homework, and read what's on the page. Read Yah's words, and he'll tell us exactly what to do.
Right, so in 30, he just said that he's going to do something new, but he's not going to replace it. He's going to reinstitute it. It's coming back, right? That's like,
he allows us to enter into it. That's the beautiful part.
Right. He made a covenant with our ancestors, and they blew it. Like, within 40 days, they were. Even that whole scenario. I'll just read it.
Okay.
I'm going to tangent after tangent. Okay. Even my tangent will have tangents.
Oh, no. This is a problem.
While Jeremiah, this is 33, Name of God, Bible, on Bible Gateway, and you are in Stones Knock, right?
Yeah.
All right, so while Jeremiah was still being held in the courtyard of the prison, Yahuwah spoke his word to him a second time. Yahuwah said, I made the earth, formed it, and set it in place. My name is Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah says. Call to me, and I will answer you. I will tell you great and mysterious things that you do not know. The houses in this city and the places of the kings of Judah have been torn down to be used against the dirt ramps and weapons of the Babylonians. This is what Yahuwah Elohim of Israel says about this. The people of Israel fought the Babylonians. Now their houses are filled with the bodies of their own people. I killed in my anger and my fury. I will hide my face from the city because of its wickedness. How can a God of love let this thing happen?
He promised it. If you don't keep my ways, we read that in Leviticus 26, you will be destroyed. And here they are being destroyed. They did not keep his commands. They were not good people. They were wicked, and he's cleansing the land, basically.
But I will heal this city and restore to health. Who will heal the city and restore to health?
Yahweh himself.
Oh. So anybody else claiming to be the ones doing it? Wrong one. I will heal its people and give them peace and security. Does what's going on in the Middle East even kind of look like peace and security?
Not at all.
I will restore Judah and Israel, not just Judah, Mr. I will keep my mouth shut.
Good.
I will restore Judah and Israel. 12 tribes, all 12 tribes. And rebuild them as they were before. I will cleanse them from all the sins that they committed against me. I will forgive them for all the sins they committed against me and for rebelling against me. Then Jerusalem will be my source of joy, praise, and honor. All the nations of on earth, will hear about all the blessings that I will give to Jerusalem. They will be afraid and tremble because all the prosperity that I will provide for it. Oh my gosh, there's a Jerusalem right now in Israel. Is that going on?
No.
Are people trembling in fear because Yahuwah is present in Jerusalem?
Sadly, no. Not yet.
So this can't be. This can't be Yahuwah in that Jerusalem right now.
No.
Right?
He's not present.
This is what Yahuwah says. You have said that this place is ruined, that no people or animals live in it. It's true. The cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem are deserted. No people or animals live there. But once again, you will hear the sounds of joy and happiness, the sounds of brides and grooms. You will hear those who bring thank offerings to Yahuwah's temple say, give thanks to Yahuwah Sabaoth, because Yahuwah is good, because his mercy endures forever. I will restore the fortunes of the land, to what they were before, says Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah Sabaoth says. In this deserted place, where no people or animals live, and in all its cities there will be once again be pastures where shepherds can rest their flocks. In the cities, on the mountains, in the foothills, in the Negev, in the territory of Benjamin, in the area around Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, shepherds will once again count their sheep, says Yahuwah. The days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I will keep the promise that I made to Israel and Judah. In those days, again, Israel and Judah, not just Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous Shemeach, and you gotta pay attention to this part, because Shemeach, Mashiach, Messiah, to spring up for David. Okay? Now listen. He will do what is fair and right in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live securely. Jerusalem will be called Yahuwah Zedekenu. It's not going to be Jerusalem anymore. It's going to be... Why are you looking at the frowny face?
What?
Okay.
I'm concentrating.
This is where it gets tricky.
Yeah, it does. Because we've been told a different story. And here he's being very specific. Jerusalem will have a new name. I have Yahweh is our righteous one. Yahweh himself is raising up this branch of righteousness. Yes, from David. David was famous for being a man after God's own heart. Like, he is God's person. Yah takes such delight in David. And so
This
promise here is beautiful. But that person who's brought for this time will administer justice and righteousness in the land. So we have to think of, has Jerusalem had a time of peace? I mean, this is being told through Jeremiah at the time they're being destroyed by Babylon. And yes, Jerusalem was rebuilt. Yes, the temple was rebuilt. But were they ever at peace? Did they actually have righteousness apparent, like super obvious? Were they at peace, prosperous, everything's good? And I have to say, throughout history, I haven't seen that. I don't know when that actually has happened yet. So that tells me this is a future promise.
And it says that he will do what is fair and right in the land. That's not...
Yeah. Like, rule over all of it. And this is the way it's set up. Like, this is my kingdom. We do righteousness here. There's actual peace. There's prosperity. There's all these promises that he said before. And I have to say that hasn't happened yet.
No, in fact, even the Temple on the Mount, which is a Roman Antonia fortress. So if you're going to the base of that wall and praying to it, you're praying to Rome. But that is a whole other thing. Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live securely.
Yeah.
Has Jerusalem ever been secure? That city has changed hands between 3 different religions over the centuries, and bloodshed everywhere. And there's a Dome of the Rock up there. Well, it's where the Roman Antonia fortress was, so why not? This is what Yahuwah says. David will never fail to have a descendant sitting on the throne of Israel. Israel, all 12 tribes, one king. David will never fail to have a descendant sitting on the throne of Israel. Now this is the next one. Oh boy, this is going to tip over one big sacred cow. The Levitical priest will never fail to have a descendant in my presence to sacrifice burnt offerings, to burn grain offerings, and to prepare daily sacrifices. So he's saying that between 14 to 17 and 18, he's saying that this is a thing that's going to happen in the future. And from
Yeah.
that moment on, never will that fail. This leader and that ruler, and then somebody. So they're saying that somebody is the high priest. And
And,
but it's saying he's a Levite. He's not a Levite.
and here the promise is also all the days. Like from this point on, this will never end. Just like we read in Jeremiah 30, from this point, this will never be destroyed again. The city is mine. I'm there. Like it's established. There's righteousness and peace, and it never ends. So again,
And
I
if
have to
you're
say this is future.
and then if you're familiar with the past, the scriptures of the past, Yahuwah made a promise to the sons of Zadok that the priesthood will never leave your line. It's always going to be there. And here he is reinstituting and telling them, in the future, when you come
Still the
back,
Levites. They're my guys.
he doesn't. We were talking about this last night, especially talking about 30,
Yeah.
Jeremiah 30, that he's saying that if the sun doesn't rise, if you can measure infinity, if you can handle all that, then these things won't. But he's talking about like a creation event. Like as soon as I say, "Let there be light," as soon as he says, "This is going to happen," it's done.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's so obvious. Like he has established this so perfectly, established it forever. Like as long as you see those stars at night, hey, this is still true. Like I love that wording. It's so obvious. You see the sun in the sky. It's daytime. You know that he's still in charge, regardless of where you are, regardless of your status in life. It's still true. His words are still true.
so this helps me think about it when I think about commands, right? The word commands, like in the whole world of computer, like when I went to college, you have to take a computer programming course, and the word's called command when you create. This is before they had graphically those little things you click on your screen. They're called
Mhm.
GUIs, graphical user interfaces. Before those existed, you had to put a prompt in there. Those prompts were called commands. You would tell the computer to do something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you remember, you'd have a C colon backslash backslash, and then you'd have to a bunch of commands that meant something to the computer, right?
Right.
But and if you put it in wrong, it just wouldn't work, right? So you
Yeah.
was saying like his commands are what makes the whole thing work. So he's creating a command. He's creating uh, a computer program, and it's just going to run. He said it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Like his covenant is so for sure. His words don't change. He himself does not change. And we see that still because the stars are in the sky and the sun is in the day. And it's such a cool promise.
Yahuwah spoke his word to Jeremiah, or Jeremiah, if you were in English. He said, "This is what Yahuwah says. Suppose you could break my arrangement with day and night so that they wouldn't come at their proper time. Then my arrangement with my servant David could be broken, and he would not have a descendant to rule on this throne. This arrangement with my servants, the Levitical priests, could also be broken." So he's saying, here's the evidence. Look, man, if I said it, it's going to happen. I said day and night are going to happen the way they're going to happen at their proper time, and they do, right? You have the evidence. So I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now, you were saying, my servant David and the Levitical priest, right? If it's going to happen, the arrangement with my servants, the Levitical priest, could also be broken. Like if you could, but since he spoke it, it can't be.
Yeah.
So if you've
And you
got
have
another tribe member walking around as a priest, you've got a
there's a
problem.
problem. That's the big problem.
Somebody
And
put in junk code in the program, and it's not going to work.
yeah, for sure. It's really
Go ahead.
not.
You keep saying
You
and.
have the word arrangement and I have the word
Mm-hmm.
covenant. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
thought that was a cool point.
Suppose you could break my covenant with day and night. Like that just sounds so much like if you've ever been in a homeowners association, you're handed the covenants
Mm.
and the
Yeah.
bylaws, right? And
Yeah.
This is how it
You have to
operates.
do this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fined.
There's no extreme decorations. You're sure I can only be this tall. Think about all those covenants. Who's got 10? Just do them.
Right.
The
Way better.
arrangement with my servants, the Levitical priests, could also be broken. Then he goes on to say, but this is what's going to happen, man. I will multiply the descendants of my servant David and the Levites who serve me like the stars of heaven that cannot be counted and the sand on the seashore that cannot be measured. And we were talking about where are the Levites. I don't see any Levites. And you'll see it on your genes, and you see the word Cohen, which is also part of that Levite family. But Yahuwah saying, in the future,
Yeah.
there'll be so many David descendants just walking around. But if you're signing the new priesthood, the new priesthood to a different bloodline, that's going against what Yahuwah declared, man.
We have to look at his own words for sure.
We just watched the video. I'm not going to say the name of the channel, but these people are saying that because he was obedient and a faithful servant, that the priesthood transferred from the Levite to him. That's not true.
That gets messy, doesn't it? Because his words here give you a very distinct and clear promise. It is for
so there's sun and moon in the sky. I know that the Levites will always have the priesthood. I can look outside and see the sun. Oh, priesthood belongs to the Levites. Yeah. You can't take it from them.
Right.
And so, okay. Then Yahuwah spoke his word to Jeremiah. He said, have you noticed what the people have said? This one's good. And if you haven't heard these words, you ain't listening. Then Yahuwah spoke his words to Jeremiah. He said, have you noticed what the people have said? They have said that Yahuwah has rejected the two families he has chosen. They despise my people, and they no longer consider them a nation. Wait a second. Wait, no, he replaced them because he's so angry with them.
No, that's not what this says.
He created a brand new religion, man. Something altogether brand new. Like that. That's a waste of my time over there. Those people that I love, that I said they're my firstborn, that I declared in Jeremiah 30, that he's going to come back and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to love him even though he's a pain in the butt. You replace them? Anybody who's saying that has not read this book.
But the sun is still in the sky. You can't do that. You can't change it.
This is what Yahuwah says. Suppose he's going to do it again because he operates. Oh man, if you don't realize when you read his word that he operates in sarcasm. Like we're not even playing checkers down here. We're playing tiddlywinks, and he's playing third-dimensional chess. You know. Yeah. This is what Yahuwah says. Suppose I hadn't made an arrangement with day and night, or a command, or a covenant with day and night, or made laws for heaven and earth. Like this is that whole computer program mindset. I created these laws. Come this further. We read last week about I told the seashore, don't come any further. Come right there, and that's as far as you go.
Yeah. His commands are so obvious. We have natural law. We know the ocean can't take over everything. He's promised. We see that rainbow in the sky. The flood is not going to cover the whole earth again. Like he has parameters so specifically set up. It's a beautiful thing.
Right. So it's a program that's running behind the scenes we don't even see, but he's set it in place and he doesn't change it. Like why would he change it?
And we're not aware of it for sure, but this is the way it is.
When he set it up. Yeah. Exactly. When he set it in motion, it was perfect, and it doesn't just apply to the sun and moon. It's going to apply. Then so if I hadn't made an arrangement with day and night or made laws for heaven and earth, then I would reject the descendants of Jacob and of my servant David, the descendants of Jacob, Israel, all 12 tribes. So he's saying that if I didn't have the sun, the earth, moon, sky in the sky, I would go ahead and get rid of them.
It'd be so random, wouldn't it? Like we're supposed to believe life is random, but it's really not. Yah has such a plan in place.
Okay, so then he says, I So if I hadn't made this arrangement, I would not have let any of David's descendants rule the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. However, I will restore their fortunes and love them.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story, folks.
Pretty much. Isn't that
Da da da
beautiful?
da da da.
Grand finale.
That's just, there's a giant sacred cow that just got pushed over, man.
I hope so.
If there's something else being said, it's not from Yahuwah's mouth. It's not from the creator of the sun, moon, and stars. He's said, he created the program and he hit enter.
Yeah.
He put all the prompts in place, hit enter. At a specific time, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Take it to the bank.
It's so obvious and it's so like concrete. And his promises are absolutely true. And the beauty of it is this is going to happen. So it's a great
He
promise.
has not rejected his two families. And those two families are Israel and Judah. And stop saying he has. Stop even thinking it. Stop even thinking that there's only one tribe. There's 12. There's 12.
And the incentive here for his people is so beautiful. He has such a great promise if we so choose to enter into that covenant, to keep his commands. His promises are solid.
I just love that. Then Yahuwah, I will read it again because it's so cool. Then Yahuwah spoke his word to Jeremiah. He said, haven't you noticed what these people have said? They have said that Yahuwah has rejected the two families he has chosen. They despise my people, and they no longer consider them a nation. That's just brilliant, man.
I have causing my people to renounce being a nation. Like, as Israel, they forgot and lost their way, right? We've inherited lies for so many centuries and generations. We forgot the promises. And if we come back to his words and we realize, oh my goodness, look at the treasure here in his words. It's so worth entering into covenant, being his people. His promises are so solid, and this ending that he has for his people is beautiful. So different than what we've been told.
I will restore their fortunes and love them. The end. And we all lived happily ever after in the kingdom of
Pretty
Yahuwah.
much. Yeah.
And we don't even have to ask people, hey, do you know Yahuwah? Everybody go home.
Don't have to teach him anymore. How easy is that?
Oh, it's just everything. There's a problem. There's a giant problems. There's gaping holes in theories and statements by people who occupy a priesthood that they don't have any right to. They're not Levites, man. If you're declaring to be a priest, you don't have the right to do it. You don't. You don't. It's a problem.
Yeah, there's so many problems. I mean, there's so many religions we've been told are valid. There's so many problems.
I'm a high priest. Oh, this is the high priest of this particular group. This is the person in charge. We gotta listen to them. Are they Levites? No.
What do his words say?
They don't have the authority, man. They're not. It's like it's no wonder it's wrong because the wrong people are speaking. The wrong bloodline is speaking. You know, and that matters. Like the bloodline doesn't matter. I've heard people make that statement. But that's not what he says. His name doesn't matter. That's not what he says.
No.
He's slapping his name on the statement. I am Yahuwah, and this is what I declare. So declares Yahuwah. That's how this thing begins.
It's directly from his words.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of it.
All right. While Jeremiah was still held in the courtyard of the prison, Yahuwah spoke his words to him a second time. Yahuwah said, I made the earth, formed it, and set in place my name, Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah says. And I've heard people say, well, I'm not going to listen to a book that's written by a bunch of people.
But there what did he claim? I am the creator of all things, basically. So Here he is the God of creation. He's told us very specifically he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's been very specific about, I am the God who brought you out of Egypt. Like, it's so solid who he is.
And if so, I think about this like not. I don't mean you because we all went through this, man. It's a growing pains thing, but like now that I read the scripture, like I didn't see Israel and Judah, which you literally have to step over like the landmines in the word over and over and like redundant. It's like every seventh word there's Israel and Judah. I'm like I never even saw it before. Like what? Never even occurred to me that that was a thing.
Oh,
It's a thing, man. It's
it's
his
to his
people,
people. Yeah.
and uh, and we're his people if we're doing what he said.
If you're in covenant.
And you don't, but I mean, you've got options,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
option is to not be in covenant and do whatever you want.
There you go.
And good on you. Best of luck. That's all I gotta say. Cause